Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order as Mexico. Now, last time we were here, we had a level of fighting and political intrigue that cannot be rivaled by the best telenovelas. We averted nuclear war, but that came with Mr. Diaz Ordaz doing a fair bit of underhanded subversion against Lopez Mateos. He might have saved the world, but we determined that he could not save his job, and we threw his ass out. I'm realizing there are a lot. Oh, geez, some of these have two. Some of these states have two. A lot of these states probably have two cities to read. Okay, so I'm gonna go, we start with the federal district. I'll do Baja California, and then work my way, I'll do both parts, states of Peninsula. I'll kind of just work my way, probably through the north, and then down slowly. Oh, there we go. Let's start with Baja California. The majority culture of the state is Bajan, with heavy American cultural influence and small indigenous minorities. Tijuana, the heart between two seas, rests in the northwest corner of Baja California, overlooking the Pacific. It's one of the largest cities in Mexico and a significant manufacturing center in North America. Its adjacency to the U.S. has brought many advantages to Tijuana, including multitudes of tourists from California. During Prohibition, the city served as a destination for U.S. nationals looking to avoid the alcohol ban. Today, its relevance as a fantastic coastal city intrigues the United States and Japan, while giving the Mexicans a beautiful city to be proud of. Next up, Baja California Sur. La Paz. Established in 1535, La Paz is the largest city and capital of the territory of southern Baja California. The city itself is relatively flat and has prospered thanks to the position on the coast of the Gulf of Cortez, to which the city owes its existence. For much of Mexico's history, the city has been largely unremarkable, living through the ups and downs of Mexican history much like any other. By the 1950s, however, the city saw a remarkable shift as a wave of prosperity and growth transformed the once backward city lying on a sparsely populated peninsula into a hub of commerce and tourism. I can confirm that. The only places I've been to Mexico has been Baja California, La Paz. Went on a cruise there when I was a kid. I don't remember much of it. I think I remember it being okay, though. La Paz now stands as a testament to the success of the Mexican miracle, a symbol for prosperity and progress for the Mexican people. It's also a symbol of the growing power of the Baja California Peninsula, perhaps heralding a new strength for this once forgotten people of this far northwestern territory. Well, we have it's evidently underdeveloped territory. Baja California Sur is a territory, not yet a free and sovereign part of the United Mexican States. This political designation reflects a social and economic reality. This vast land is sparsely populated and isolated. Its mountainous terrain and distance from urban centers have prevented the full exploitation of its mineral and maritime resources, and serves as a powerful barrier to growth. Nevertheless, its small populace, along with mining and agricultural interests, advocate for infrastructure development and for the recognition and influence that statehood would bring. I wonder if we can rank them a state. I'm curious about that myself. I'm very curious about that. From what I gathered, it looks like Yucatan is also a territory. Chiapas is a full state. Campeche. Where would be... Well, this is... That's something else. We'll have to get to that when we get to that. Mexico City have any unique stuff? It doesn't look like it. Well, the culture over here is Altiplanico. The large Nahua population and smaller indigenous minorities such as the Mazahua, Otuma, Nahua, Tlahuica, and Mlatzaninka. I'm trying my best here. I don't know if you pronounce it the Spanish way. It's just a political crisis. Don't mind that. They happen every Tuesday. True. Very true. Alright, so we fired Diaz Ordaz. I'm curious if that's going to actually kick him out. How's our economy doing? Raul Salinas Lozano's discreet favor to Japanese diplomacy in the heat of Aleutian crisis was being amply repaid. Japan's foreign ministry has arranged for the top names of Sphere Manufacturing and Finance to attend the Secretary of Industry and Commerce's fete at Acapulco's most luxurious hotel. The economist took to the podium, as he had for years of teaching, and began in an accented but scrupulously correct Japanese. Also, it might just be a flavor event. It might be. We'll have to wait and see. I am honored to host you all today. Our government felt that it was imperative to quickly address any concerns resulting from the recent Pacific crisis. Many expressed surprise over the turn of documents sent to the U.S. and Japanese embassies. That document had not been reviewed or approved by the president. Afterwards, he made it pretty clear that Ordaz was responsible, just as he had through numerous party channels. The former shoo-in for the presidency was to be as tarnished as possible. I wish to assure you that our administration's policy remains unchanged. Mexico is a neutral nation committed to working with partners across the world in pursuit of prosperity. Our nation possesses ample natural resources and an able and rapidly expanding workforce, and through enviable geography, access to markets across the Americas, especially as a backdoor to the massive northern one. I guarantee to you that those opportunities will only grow. Thank you. The speech was over, but the real work had yet to begin. Salinas had strategically picked members of his team with glad hand for hours, disseminate data and optimistic analysis, give personalized gifts of mind-carved jade, and wine and dine late into the night. As stern Zaibatsu executives crumbled one by one, pledging to increase their investment in Mexico, Salinas knew he would catch President Lopez Mateos' attention. If a secretary could do all this with a modest budget and a week to plan, imagine what wonders he could perform with proper backing. Scrawled on a napkin, the word Naha Zwatin. And of course, I forgot to read the fucking thing. Naha Zwatin is the Aztec god of the sun. Thank you for that. Oh, here we are. The Mexican miracle. Oh boy. Proyectos. A lot of these seem to be locked, but we get different Yeah, we're going to start a couple of these projects, it looks like. Oh, Jesus, we got a lot of projects. Holy shit. For Mexico City. New Museum of Modern Art. Nice. Oh, this one is already in progress, it looks like. The Federal Highway 190D. Federal Highway 150D is one nearing completion already, but requires some additional funds. Construction until it can be fully finished. Stretching from Veracruz to Mexico City, it'll be one of the most vital highways connecting our country together. Me when TNO gives me even more charts to read. True. Show economy decisions. Oh god, how do I even approach this shit? Central North, Northeast. Max expansion, new nuclear plant. I like this idea, the Vicente Guerrero Dam. And Tamaulipas Vicente Guerrero Dam proposal is certainly ambitious due to its size. However, besides being located close to the execution area of Agustin de Iturbide, there's nothing else remarkable about this project. Well, let's get this started. No active project here. Let's do a new nuclear plant here. I could just do a new electric plant. Nah, let's do the new nuclear plant. Kind of fun. I wonder what happens if Mexican dream shatters. I wonder that too. Mexico is foremost among nations seeking to prevent the spread of the use of nuclear weapons. Now, as we construct a working fission plant, we will surge forward within the ranks of those who channel this awesome power towards peaceful and productive ends. You do a new national airport in the west. Okay, so it's Lozano or Ordaz, 2 of the 3. Madrazo is the other one, okay. Okay, south, let's do something in the southeast too. Let's do a Pemex expansion. Pemex, or state-owned oil firm, is among Cornelius' most valuable legacies for our nation, but we cannot rest on his laurels. Pemex must be expanded. Strategic investment in production and refining capability will increase output for international export and our growing domestic consumption. Let's see if we got something in Mexico City. Some of these areas are slightly comfortable, moderately comfortable, moderately comfortable. Southwest says it's slightly desperate. Let's do some of the Southwest then, see if we can't help them out. Here's Madrazo Lexus National Parks and Forest. I think so. I think that's what it was saying. Oh, this one is already in production, so we don't have to worry about that. We could do this. In the year 1964, it's projected that Guadalajara will surpass 1 million residents, a number that is projected to double decade on decade, and the features it absorbs surrounding communities. Such immigration necessitates housing, and these public works will provide that, alongside all the needed services, making for quality, affordable housing in the city. That actually sounds pretty good. Let's go for that. The one in the Southwest was being worked on as benefit side by events. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's going to be cool. All right, well. Let's get working on our star player. President Lopez Mateos cannot be more different than his dry predecessor, Cortines. He has glamour, good looks, boxing talent, taste for fast cars, high culture, and fine women. The Mexican people are enamored with him, and he has returned that affection tenfold with free textbooks, ejidos, food support for the poorest, and rural electrification. Yet absence can makes the heart grow yonder. Lopez Paseos, as they call him, has wooed the world with his charming diplomatic nous, but left the party back home bereft of his popular face. Whirlwind tour of the nation will reignite that spark. He will remind the people of what he has done for them, and what glories await. The president may even drop hints of a ring. Or 5. He's such a charmer. I can't be mad at him. For most of its history, Tabasco has been considered a backwater Mexico. Isolated, ignored, forgotten, life had stayed as it was for decades. Now everything had changed, and the man currently standing over the balcony could claim his share of the credit. He had paved and lit the streets of Villa Hermosa. He had built the Malecon around the Grijalva River, and ensured the road network of his state was fully integrated with that of the rest of the nation. Governor Carlos Alberto Madrazo Becerra was going to be one of the most accomplished governors of the brave new world that his state found itself in. But that brave new world had been turned upside down. First, it had been nearly obliterated over some islands far more remote than Tabasco. And now news is spreading even here of Gustavo Diaz Ordaz's catastrophic error in the diplomatic crisis. Only hours ago, Manuel Mora had burst in and told him that Ordaz had released that first horrifically pro-American draft agreement without the president's knowledge or support. Madrazo had been stunned that Ordaz, hardly known as impulsive, could have thrown away Mexico's neutrality and independence, could have destroyed everything in an instant. The world had not ended, but the career of Ordaz, a supposedly left-wing candidate, the moderate Cardenista, the successor to the throne, likely would. That left who? A Lechea, maybe, and that bastard Salinas. Madrazo shook his head. The revolution could not survive another Aleman. Diaz Ordaz had destroyed his chance at a smooth succession, and now everything was in danger. Someone needed to step up from the left to take his spot, to continue to build on the work that Lopez Mateos had started, to be the standard bearer for the PRI, the revolution, and for Mexico itself. Madrazo smiled as he overlooked the city. Certainly, he wouldn't mind being president. A cyclone rises from the southeast. Well, I guess that's our third candidate. Interesting indeed. Maybe Ordaz is not a player at all. Ordaz is one of the players I know. Project available. Proyecto. Okay, so we have one in Central North. Let's do the Museum of Insurgency. Detailing Miguel Hidalgo's struggle for the fight of Mexican independence, this museum would allow residents of Aguascalientes to learn more about the origins of the Mexican state, as well as the role their state played in the insurgency, and truly be home to many school trips and tourist stops in the city. Can't quite do anything there. But I know the Cancun project would be good. Let's do Federal Highway 307. Which is to run from Cancun in the Yucatan's northeast to Chetumal in our southern border. From the Caribbean coast to the wild jungles of the interior, the highway will offer an unforgettable drive to legions of tourists soon to descend on the peninsula. The economic development that they bring is critical, but so is integrating this remote corner of Mexico into the greater whole. Well, that works for me. Okay, it looks like... Okay, the Baja plan, I think, is going to, Okay, so this will connect Baja California, Sur with the rest, I'm guessing. We also have the Cerro Prieto geothermal plant, which looks like the decisions will be determined by an event chain. I guess it's in an Ordaz and maybe more American leaning, Madrazo more center. Salinas is Japanese leaning. That's what it sounds like to me. I forget the leaks, but that kind of sounds right to me. Let's check this out. This project had already begun work many years ago in '58, but work had slowed recently as our efforts had turned elsewhere. Now it is perhaps time to rectify this oversight and refocus our efforts on building our geothermal energy plant Cerro Prieto in Mexicali. This plant will take many years to complete, but upon its completion, it will be the second largest of its kind in the world, and will show the world the marvel of Mexican engineering and our ability to produce such massive quantities of power. Almost clicked on the airport. Well, that pops up an event almost immediately. Do we still have more projects to do? Proyectos. That's a lie. We don't have any proyectos left. Anyhow. Come. Let me tell you a story of how the volcano came to be. The Cocoa Pot aunt rocking her chair, looking through the window and at the storied valley, twisting from one direction to another, but always providing clear view in the middle. She remembers waiting for that part of a year when the sun fell right in the middle and... She glanced back to her nephew, waiting for her to begin, his small puppy on the floor a few feet away from him. Long ago, in an age long past our own, a boy who was very naughty and was with his loyal dog, prodded and wounded a monster. The monster gave chase throughout the valley. Come here. She gestured for the nephew to stand up, with the same hand pointed towards the landscape. The whole valley, nearly catching and eating the boy and his dog. At last, once the boy was out of breath, he finally arrived at the house of his aunt. She handed him her earring, which turned into a stone, and the aunt cocked back her hand before releasing the energy and swinging her arm forward, threw the rock with all his strength at the beast. And then, her nephew piped up. The night sky seemed to shine through his eyes and hit back at her with his grin. Then, once it hit the monster, it thrashed around in agony. It fell and created the hole in the volcano over there. The storyteller pointed towards Cerro Prieto, inactive though it was, still standing, and in doing so boiled itself in the lava that spewed out. Her nephew continued to gaze out of the window, his eyes darting to find the remnants of a clash. There weren't any claw marks or anything that could be from the monster. All he spotted were trucks making their way towards the volcano, like they were chasing the beast long gone. Trucks filled with surveying equipment. See, unemployment, which is really not doing too hot in a lot of these areas up north. It's doing okay in Yucatan, actually. Got some places that are moderately rural, slightly rural, very urban, slightly urban, very rural, moderately rural. Okay, so we get some options here, it looks like. Okay, interesting. Unemployment. Where are we struggling on employment? Northeast is going down well enough as is. But Southwest is... The West is almost at its target. Apparently looking loosely, Mexican become a true democracy, but to quote the devs, it requires a lot of violence. Oh no. Alright, West is slightly urban. Let's improve some working standards here. Quality of life, agricultural productivity. Oh, Jesus, we have a lot of stuff. I'll have to read this another time. Okay, proyectos. We're missing anything else here. Southwest Gulf. We have this that we need to read. The Kotza Kaltos Bridge. This partially complete massive bridge over the Kotza Locos serves a rapidly expanding petrochemical industry across the river from the city sharing its name. The first in the area. Upon completion, it will include a massive drawbridge to facilitate shipping in the river, a long-term investment that will provide a massive boost for the local economy for decades to come. Well, there we go. That'll be good. See the insurgency, the dam. I think we got it. Got boss. California we have. Projects available. Okay, now it updated. Uh-oh. Not Hydric. The hot, stale air of the meeting room experienced a momentary hush as Pan's newly elected president stood. As things stand, we cannot win, began Adolfo Cristlieb Ibarroya. As much as he loathed his replacement as party president, Jose Gonzalez Torres had to agree. His own term was proof enough of that. What few elections Pre's superior organization, resources, and recognition not delivered, fraud and violence stole. A paltry 6 seats in the Chamber of Deputies was all Gonzalez had managed to claim. But where his successor went wrong was his turn away from God and church, as well as... So we must change, Mexico. We must work with the government to secure fair elections, not for our benefit, but for that of all Mexicans. Gonzalez winced at Cristiab's cohort of young supporters applauded the barely clove submission to the Pre. Gonzalez's own faction of staunch Catholic conservatives sat in sullen silence, a clear division that boded ill for the party's future. If Cristiab noticed the mixed responses, passion not ebb. Even in opposition, we must work to shape legislation to protect the valleys and businesses that sustain Mexico. We will not abdicate our responsibility to our countrymen in favor of complacent detachment. If to escape an action we must cooperate with the powers that be, then so be it. For the sake of a nation, we must act. A sneer crept across Gonzalez's face. Cristaliab was a fool. One that will lead their party from the loving embrace of the Madonna to the murderous clutches of a Leviathan. David extends a hand to Goliath. I can't believe it. Well, we're going to end the video there. This is why playing nations that play tall and strategy games get to sit micromanaging how to best improve the standards of living for my country. True. That is kind of fun. I think we'll get a little bit of that for the pre in Mexico. But we'll have to see that next time. Anyway, thanks for as always for watching. Gang, like if you liked, dislike if you didn't, leave in comments feedback down in the comment section below. I read all comments you get, and I do appreciate any help feedback you might have for me. Check out the various links in the box below, including the Twitch if this was filmed on live. Leaving comments down in the comment section below as well. And yeah, that's going to be it for now, my friends. I thank you for watching. My name has been Mr. Dogbot333. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.